That broadcast school has really paid off.
And now, live from the Crestwood OTB, 13148 Crestwood Drive, our pre-Derby broadcast continues with the Mike Murphy Show, brought to you by Intertrack Partners on 670 The Score and 670thescore.com.
CBS presents this program in color.
Hold it. I think you're going to like this picture.
Ready? Go.
Here's Mac Murphy. He's the man of the band, nothing more. Here's Mac Murphy. It's the show with the most.
Best of 7. And that's the Blackhawks. And the Bulls. Oh, what a crazy night. How you doing, everybody? Murph with you. From now until 2, lots to do on a busy score day. We're 1 hour away from Tool of the Week, my friends over at RentalMax, RentalMax.com. I have a feeling we'll need to seatbelt on for Tool of the Week in 1 hour. Lots of potential, possible Tool nominations. So last night, you had this on, you had that on, I mean, it was a crazy night last night. I mean, crazy. You got the Bulls on, you DVR'd the Blackhawks. Crazy. Yeah, well, you're watching the Cub game back and forth. Thank goodness the Sox were off. I don't know how we would have watched 4 at once.
This is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy.
So let's see. The Bulls game ends, and then you say, you know what? I recorded the Blackhawks. So you start that. 3 more hours later, it's 1 o'clock. Hawks were down 3-0. They come back and tie it. They lose with 1 minute to go. You have triple overtime with your Chicago Bulls. Cubs even went overtime. They call it extra innings in baseball. You probably didn't know this, but they almost won the damn game in the 9th inning, but almost doesn't count. All right. Bulls are the story. We're going to talk Bulls. How about a little Wooly Bully back at the ranch there, Jazo? Get you in the mood. 1, 2, 3 overtimes. Uno, dos, tres. Thank God it wasn't Quattro overtime. Maybe that's Game 7. It'd be like hitting for the cycle in baseball. You have an overtime. You have a double overtime. You have a triple overtime. Unos, dos, tres, cuatro. I don't think we could take it. All right, let's do this. Let's talk a little Bulls basketball. David Schuster's going to join us in a little while. He covered the game for the Score Sports Radio 670. Eddie Olczyk said he'd blow in a quick phone call from Vancouver between now and 2 and start getting your Tool of the Week names in mind right now, 1 hour from now. It's Murph, driven to you by ChevyDriveChicago.com. All right, Bulls fans, gather around the radio and gather around your telephone. I want to hear from you. Let's start this easy. Right now, as a Bulls fan, who are you happiest for? Let's get rolling with that, first of all. Who are you happiest for? It could be anybody from the owner of the team down to the towel boy. It could be anybody you want. Who are you happiest for right now as a Chicago Bulls? Maybe you're happiest for yourself. I gotta be honest. I didn't think they were going to pull it off when they had that 8-9 point lead. They blew that thing in about 3 minutes. I wasn't feeling too good. You weren't either. That's the beauty of sports. You never give up. You stay by your team. You stay by your television. You stay right. But who are you most happy for? 644-6767. And if the Bulls play Game 7, when they play Game 7 Saturday, who's the pressure on? Is the pressure on the Celtics? Oh, come on, Murph. They're at home. They got the home crowd. They've been there, done that. The pressure was all on the Bulls, right? I don't know. I don't think so. I want to ask you as a basketball fan, you don't even have to be a Bulls fan, but it would certainly help if you're in Chicago being a Bulls fan. Who's the pressure on Saturday night? The Bulls or the Celtics? How about star of the game? You know, like they do in hockey, the star of the game. And I think they're starting to do it now at the Bulls games. But how do you make that selection last night? Brad Miller? You got to consider Brad Miller. My God, every time they needed him, he stepped up huge. How about Joe Noah? Now, I have a new nickname for Joakim Noah. Tell me if you like it or not. The Pony. He is the Pony. Joe the Pony Noah. Why is he the Pony? Well, not just a ponytail. but he's like a young colt. He's like a young horse. He's a pony out there. He gallops. Sometimes he's a little awkward. And, of course, I want to remind you that you can pre-bet the Derby today at any of the Intertrack partners. Nice tie-in, Murph the pony. Pre-bet the Derby today at any one of the Intertrack partners. 15 locations. Doors open tomorrow at 9 a.m. If you're in the area today, come by, say hello. Crestwood OTB. We're right here at 131st and Cicero. Let's get to the phones. Game 7. Who's the pressure on? The Bulls or the Celtics? Who are you happiest for that the Bulls have progressed through this playoff where no one thought, hardly anybody thought, did you think that no one thought this would go 7 games? And who was the star of the game? 644-6767. Let's punch it up with Bob and McHenry on the score. We're talking Wooly Bully. Hello, Bob.
Hi, Mike. I'm sorry. I've having a hard time talking. Hey, man. I should talk like that after last night, man.
I'll tell you what.
I came out of my skin.
Did you get to check out any Blackhawks or baseball?
Yeah, I got a blister on my channel-changing finger, Murph.
I got a blister on my finger.
I'm going back and forth. I'm like, Anyway.
First of all, who's the pressure on in Game 7?
It's going to be on the Celtics. And the guy I feel best for, asked that question you posted, is Del Negro. I mean, you got to feel good for the guy, man. You know, he's been getting creamed by the fans all year. But what a play by Noah last night, huh? When he
you know what?
Pierce looks up, and all he sees is a pile of hair and the soles of shoes tearing out of court. Oh, it was unbelievable.
You know what? All the great plays we've seen in Chicago Bulls basketball history, and we're not comparing this to, MJ or any of the great, but watch Noah. I'm going to call him the pony. He's got the ponytail, and he's like a young colt. He's unbridled. Sometimes he sort of, steps funny, trips up like a young pony. He's the pony. How about that play?
Yeah, not bad. And how about Pierce at the end of that play? Gassed. He bent over like,
hey, take care of your voice.
Thanks, Mike. Take care, man.
All right, buddy. Now, Jay Zawaski back at the studios. Give us a little mini mix, and then I understand you got a little bonus for us. How about a little mini mix? The pony, Joe Noah.
Here's an opening. That's not the way it's going by Joe King. Pierce can't foul anybody. Get out the way, Paul Pierce. See you later. That's number 6. Pierce fouls out. Does not stop the driving bump by Joe King Noah. Oh, great hustle by Joe King Noah.
Straight away, left-hand dribble inside the free throw line. His pass deflected, stolen by Noah. Noah racing with Pierce, dunks it, fouls Pierce out of the game, and will give Chicago a 3-point lead if he can make the free throw. The long arms of Joakim Noah may just have decided Game 6.
So many things to talk about, so many great plays. Derek making plays, and Joe, there's so much to talk about. I don't know where to start, but just so happy way our guys fought.
Hey, great job back at the ranch, Jay Zawaski, Highlights Comcast Sportsnet. Hey, Jay, the one radio soundbite there, what was that?
That was WEEI in Boston. Enjoying the loss, you would say.
The Boston Celtics. Now, do you have that isolated? I want to.
Let's hear that again.
So this is WEEI. Now, picture. These are the Celtics radio guys, and they're already probably stunned that they're, in Game 6. They're already stunned that it's going to be a triple overtime. There's 35 seconds to go. Now, let's listen to the Boston guys calling the big play. Go ahead.
Pierce, straight away, left-hand dribble inside the free throw line. His pass deflected, stolen by Noah. Noah racing with Pierce, dunks it, fouls Pierce out of the game, and will give Chicago a 3-point lead if he can make the free throw. The long arms of Joakim Noah may just have decided Game 6.
Oh, I love it. Boston Celtics radio. This is the score in Chicago. Hey, my guy, Vuk. Jeff Vukovich. For all your insurance needs. Vuk is Murph's nationwide insurance agent of the year. He's in Park Ridge. Sports guy, family guy. He loves the score. 30 years, same spot. Stability. Jeff Vukovich for all your insurance needs. Big crowd gathering right here at the Crestwood OTB. Let's say hello to Scott. Next on the score, he's on his cell phone. Hey, Scott.
Hey, Murph, what a night. That was a great night last night.
Hey, let me ask you, did you watch TNT or Comcast Sportsnet? I was on Comcast, Neil Funk and Stacey King. What did you watch?
I had Comcast, and I had the Versus going when the Hawk game started.
Eddie Olczyk said he'll phone in between now and 2 from Vancouver. They almost came back, and they tied that thing 3-3. Unbelievable. Lose 4-3. I think the Hawks are going to carry this thing 7, and they're going to win it in 7 like the Bulls are going to win the first round. How much fun last night? Who are you happiest for with the Bulls, Scott?
Well, I'll tell you what, Murph. There was a play late in one of the overtimes. Kirk Heinrich had a pretty open layup, and somehow it rimmed out. And I'm very happy that the Bulls won for Kirk Heinrich.
Well, I'll tell you what. I felt terrible when the ball spun out. I heard some callers, the Mully Hanley, Hampton Holmes, saying that on the replay, it looked like Rondo maybe got his hand up in there. I missed it live the first time. But Heinrich has been, how about when he gets mugged again and they don't throw this Rondo out of the game? These referees are so damn inconsistent.
They really are, Murph, and that was a cheap shot.
It was a dirty.
Rondo.
It was more than cheap. More than cheap. It was another dirty shot. Let's use the right word.
You're right. I think both plays by Rondo, you could say they're dirty plays.
You know what's interesting, Scott? I can tell you know the game. They were whistle happy the first 5 minutes, which is fine. Whistle happy. They got Crawford out there, the policeman of all the referees. But then when they really had the chance to flex their muscle, they didn't do it. They gave them a flagrant one.
A flagrant run, and then it was kind of leveled off by the tee on Heinrich for just trying to defend himself.
Right.
I agree with you. It didn't make sense. I'll leave you with this, Murph.
Yes.
I predict.
Oh, Swami.
Here we go. I think the Bulls are going to take it in 7, and I'm saying the Hawks in 7. I'm with you on that one, too.
The Bulls are going to the second round. The Hawks are going to the third round of conference championship. Great to visit with you, Scott.
Thanks, Murph.
All right, buddy. Everyone on hold. We'll get right back to you. Murphapalooza till 2 o'clock. We're going to have Tool of the Week at 1. That should be raucous. Buckle up, as I say, for Tool of the Week. Ronald Max at 1 o'clock. Everyone on hold. We'll get right back to you. I'm looking at the screen here. I see one of my fans on hold. Instead of playing Match Murph here, the guy I'm happiest for in the Bulls organization as of right now. Sports Radio 670. Murph, driven to you by ChevyDriveChicago.com.
There's a lob. Miller can't score. Big Brad. They tricked him. What a play by Heinrich.
Brad Miller's coming up big.
Highlights, Comcast Sportsnet. It's Murph on the road at the OTB, Crestwood OTB, 131st and Cicero. Get your pre-bet in today for the Derby or any of the Intertrack partners. 15 locations. Doors open tomorrow, 9 a.m. All right, that was Brad Miller. He, I believe, was the star of the game, maybe under the radar. My favorite play of the game, how could it not be? The pony, Joakim Noah, with the steal, the slam, and one with the three-point shot. But who am I happiest for? Who are you happiest for overall? Let's go next to Wadsworth. Up to the state line. It's Pete on the score. Hello, Peter.
How's it going, Murph? What a great day.
Peter, it was unbelievable. Crazy night last night, like we said. Blackhawks watched that afterwards, DVR'd it. Watched my beloved Cubs almost winning the ninth, get blown out in the 10th. But the Chicago Bulls, and let me ask you, the player of the game, I'm giving it to Brad Miller. The play of the game, the pony, Joakim Noah. But overall, who are you happiest for in the whole organization, Pete? It could be from Jerry Reinsdorf down to the towel boy or the guy doing a great job in the parking lot.
It's got to be Paxson.
Tell me why.
Well, first off, he brought in Salmons and Miller, and they were the heroes. I mean, 35, Salmons had, 35 points?
How would they be without those two guys is what you're saying, without Salmons and without Brad Miller? What would we be doing now? We'd be talking Blackhawks, Sox, and Cubs, which would be fun, but we wouldn't have this right now without those two guys with Pax making the deal.
Amen, brother. I'm happy for Paxton because
Congratulations! You've just been dubbed
today's caller of the show. Hey, nicely done. Pete, hang on, buddy. I'm going to send you over to visit my friends at Brown's. Lunchtime beef and Brown's. It tastes better, all right, Peter?
Sweet. Thanks,
all
man.
Right. Hook up Pete back at the studios there. You know what it's probably going to do. It's probably going to say, hey, I'm having everyone over to my house Saturday night. Going to have the Bulls game on, and we're going to go to Brown's, get chicken. We're going to get the new pasta bowls over the Primo Pasta. We're going to get everything from Brown's, bring it on over for the big party Saturday night. Let me just go back and talk about for a moment. Everyone on hold, I'll get right to you. Tool of the Week coming up at 1 o'clock. It's Murph. Here is, I pulled this up this morning, Googled up Bulls, the word trade, Brad Miller, John Salmons. Let me just read you. This is from the day of the trade on February 18th. All right? This is from one of the newspapers in Sacramento. February 18th. The Chicago Bulls and Sacramento Kings, now listen to this, reached tentative agreement today to trade Andre Nocioni, Drew Gooden, Michael Ruffin, and Cedric Simmons to the Kings for Brad Miller and John Salmons. Let me read on here. Talks between Sacramento and the Bulls moved to an advanced stage earlier this week after the Kings were unsuccessful in packaging Miller and Salmons in a deal with the New York Knicks. The Knicks couldn't work out a deal. Maybe they turned it down. Maybe the money didn't match up. Could be a million reasons. Let me read some more. February 18th. Another source indicated in Sacramento that the Kings had hoped to convince Chicago to accept center Mikey Moore. I forgot they even had him, of the Celtics. The Kings had hoped to convince John Paxson to accept center Mikey Moore instead of Salmons, so Sacramento could trade Salmons in a separate move. Paxson, however, wanted Salmons, and the Kings did not oppose it because of long-term financial savings that they'll be gaining. Miller averaging 11.9 points, 8 boards, one of the better passing big men in the league. This is fascinating. The way that Paxson orchestrated this trade. This will be the third team for John Salmons in a 7-year career. Gooden. Remember, I almost forgot about Drew Gooden. He was traded to the Bulls last season in the deal that sent Ben Wallace to the Cavaliers. So what Paxson did, he unwound the mistake of Ben Wallace for Drew Gooden and then unwound that for Brad Miller. The Sacramento Bee newspaper reports that the Kings also offered Miller and Salmons to New Jersey Nets. But that deal fell through. Way to go, John Paxson. Let's go back to the phones. Who are you happiest for? Star of the game, Brad Miller. Play of the game, Pony Noah. He's a pony. Let's bring in Evan and line 3 from Lakeview. Hello, Evan.
Hey, what's going on, Murph?
Hey, man, what a night, huh?
What a night. Man, it was a good one.
Now, star of the game, we can say whoever we want. I'm glad that for Vinny Del Negro, I'm also happy. He made a lot of mistakes again, but at least you know what? The rookie coach is in Game 7.
I agree, completely agree. I wish when it came down to a last-second shot, he would do something other than have Ben Gordon settle for an 18-footer, just something else.
Well, you know what? They did that last.
Penetrate and kick or something.
Yeah, you know they did the same thing in Game 5. It's hard to remember all these games now; they're all merging. In Game 5, at the end, where I thought, drive the ball, drive the bucket, make them foul you. And when it's tied like that, I was shocked that they didn't do exactly that. But you know what? It all worked out. But we can still review the plays, and I didn't like that call either, my friend.
I'm with you. I'm with you 100%.
Good deal. Hey, Evan, I'm going to blast off. Thanks a lot, buddy.
All right, thanks a lot.
Appreciate it very much. Hey, thetowngroup.com. Now, if you are in charge of major heating, air conditioning systems, big buildings, major complexes, thetowngroup.com, they do it right. Sophisticated air conditioning, piping, chillers, West Town, North, Southwest Town, Northwest Town, thetowngroup.com. They do it right. Oh, I love their white trucks and their red stripes. Back in a flash. Everyone on hold will get to you. Eddie Olczyk said he'd phone in from Vancouver. Hawks will win round 2 in 7. Bulls will win round 1 in 7. And Tool of the Week also. It's the score. It's Murph back in a flash. Driven to you by Chevy. DriveChicago.com. Oh, thank you very much. Talking Bulls, We got Tool of the Week in a few minutes. But back at the studios, we're having a great time here at the Crestwood OTB, 131st and Cicero. Stop on by pre-Derby betting now. Open tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Jay Zawoski, biggest Blackhawks fan in the building.
That's right.
Oh, man, great night last night. They come. Hey, how about a little mini mix? Just give me about 10, 15 seconds of some Blackhawks there. What do you got?
You got it.
I think the thought process for Chicago has to be, look, let's get one. We know we're going to get a power play chance, and then we're within one shot. Let's get one.
Blue puck picked up by Kane. He scores! Patrick Kane, there's the one.
We know we're going to get a power play chance.
Good holding here on the power play. Seabrook will the drive, save, rebound, score! Patrick Kane!
And then we're within one shot.
Duncan Keith will the drive, save, rebound, save, score! Dave Bolin!
That's it with Barnett.
Eddie Olczyk on Versus. Hold on. We didn't have anybody scheduled right here. There's the Liberty Line ring, and let's punch it up. It's Mike Murphy. That's not Eddie Olczyk, is it?
Hey, Murph.
Hey, Eddie, how are you? Welcome from Vancouver. It's Eddie Olczyk, everybody. Eddie, watching you on We've been a little busy here in Chicago with the Bulls last night, and you guys, my God, no one in town has slept.
Oh my gosh, I can imagine it. When I was tracking on the computer the Bulls game there in triple overtime, and next thing you know, the Hawks were in the third, down by 3. They scored 3 goals. I thought Big Buff was going to score the game-winning goal. Threes were wild last night for Bulls and Blackhawk fans, but you got 1 win, 1 loss, but a great night in Chicago sports, that's for sure.
Eddie Olczyk, Eddie, everyone was watching the Bulls game, but we were switching back and forth. I set the DVR, I think you call it. I still call it the recorder, but whatever. So the Bulls end about 10:30. It started at 6. The Bulls go 4 hours Chicago time till 10. Then I start the Blackhawk game, and I zip through a little of it here and there, because it's already going on 11 o'clock. Now it's going on midnight, and the Hawks start scoring. They're down 3-0. They Patrick Kane with the quick wrist shot. A nice pass from Havlet. Then on the power play, Patrick Kane again. A quick little punch off the rebound. Then, I couldn't believe it, 5 minutes to go in the game. There's Dave Bolin. He puts it in. He's right next to the goal. Luongo leaves the net wide open. Eddie, it was about 1 o'clock, and finally the goal goes in there by whatever his name was.
Sammy Salo.
Yes, whatever his name. Right past Hobby and the empty net. Eddie, the Bulls are going 7 in the second round. I believe the Hawks in Vancouver are going to full 7.
Yeah, I would be. I would agree with you, Murph. I think that this series, when you look at the matchups and the goaltender and the depth of the Vancouver Canucks, to me, this is going to be a long series, a much different task for the Blackhawks because of the things I just mentioned. And last night got into penalty trouble, and when you take a lot of penalties, a lot of guys sit there. It takes, it's taxing on some of your better players like Brent Seabrook, Duncan Keith, that kills a lot of penalties. So your penalty killers are exerting themselves a little bit more when they're shorthanded. And I think that didn't allow the Hawks to get in their rotation and their routine. And you know what? But they got a bounce early, and they took advantage of it, and they had the Canucks on the run. And unfortunately, they had an odd man situation late, a 4-on-2, which turned into a 3-on-1 for the Canucks, and give them credit, they finished it off. So a crazy game in game 1, but I agree with you, Murph. I think this thing is going to go a long time here in round 2.
Eddie, funny you should mention Duncan Keith and Brent Seabrook. I made some notes just before the game on Versus. Eddie, I jotted this down. Hawks will use, this is you talking, Hawks will use Duncan Keith, Brent Seabrook against the Sedin Twins, and you called that ahead of time. Late in the game, you said this: Coach Q has changed up the lines tonight. He's been mixing and matching the lines. Give me a quick little feel for what that was all about.
Well, I think that any time that you're down, you're a little bit stale. You try to get some sort of a jump, get a rise out of your team, Murph. And whether whether it's in baseball, when you're going through a tough time, you change the batting order. Maybe you do different types of things. I think that's exactly what Joel tried to do. I think there were some guys that were very stale last night that just didn't seem, whatever they did, they just didn't have the jump. And I think that when you get into those situations, you start taking some chances. Late in the second period, the Hawks started getting their defensemen involved, putting some pressure on the Canucks in their own zone, and they continued with it in the third period. And you know what? If you get a line that creates a chance, you're going to stay with it. And I think you're just always looking for that right chemistry, that right combination to jumpstart your team. And Joel pressed the right buttons. He used a lot of different combinations. He had Havlat versus Stieg and Kane together.
Yeah.
He just a lot of different, mixing and matching just to try to find that, right combination that would get him on the board. And it worked, but came up a little short.
Hey, Eddie, just before the empty netter, when it was still 4-3, 30 seconds to go, Sammy Paulson, and here's one of the reasons Dale Talon wanted him so bad, he won 2 key face-offs, even though they weren't able to convert. How about Sammy Paulson winning those 2 draws?
Puck possession, such an important part. First period, Murph, Vancouver really dominated. I think they were like 67, 68% in the first period, but as the game went on, the Hawks got stronger. But, the first face-off, he won, Murph. He didn't even use his stick. He kind of kicked it back to Marty Havlat, and Marty Havlat helped to get the puck back to the point. But the little things that could end up being the difference in a game that wasn't, but a little bit of confidence, and also showing Joe Quenneville that, he can win a face-off on either side. Being a left-hander, he can win it on his forehand or go to the left side and win it as his backhand. Little things, but very, very important.
Hey, Eddie, great job. And if you see the guy at Versus that worked on that Glenn Hall tribute, the great Hawks goalkeeper, good old number 1 retired, what a terrific minute or 2 that montage was. I don't know if you got to see it up in the booth.
I did not, Murph. I did not, but I will make sure that I reach out for the DVD or the old VHS beta machine, right?
Yeah, we're going to record that thing, whatever you call it. Eddie, visit with you throughout the playoffs. You're always so generous with your time. We appreciate it from Vancouver. And back to Comcast Sportsnet, doing a great job. Thanks, Eddie.
Murph, have a great weekend. Enjoy the Derby, and watch out for Frisian Fire tomorrow.
All right, I got $2 right here. I got nothing better to do with it. Thanks for the tip.
All right, Murph.
All right, you got that? A tip from it. Hey, get back to some Bulls music right here. Jay Zawaski's on fire. Right now, I'm happiest for John Paxson. February 18th, he trades Andres Nocioni, Drew Gooden, Michael Ruffin, and Cedric Simmons. And he gets Brad Miller and John Salmons, the stars of the game. We've nicknamed Joakim Noah the Pony because he's just like that. Besides the ponytail, he's a pony out there. A little young, a little frisky, sometimes trips a little, stumbles over his own feet. The Pony Noah, what a play last night. Carphone Mike is next on the score. Hello, Michael.
Hey, Murph, long-time listener, first-time talker.
Hey, you didn't mind a minute or two of Blackhawk hockey, but let's get back to your call, the Bulls.
The Bulls, to talk with you, I'll hang on. No problem, Murph. Hey,
thank you.
I'm watching this game last night, and the play that I thought was really going to bite him that nobody's talking about is Ben Gordon, I think early in the fourth quarter, gets 2 fouls called on him. He goes to the bench, and he kicks over a water bucket or something, and they ring him up with a technical, and the guy, Allen, they bring him in, who's about a 95% shooter. It's a free throw. That don't happen. It don't even go in overtime.
Yeah, no one's mentioned Ben Gordon, lack of discipline. I don't know exactly. I didn't see on TV what he kicked over, what he yelled at the ref or whatever.
But the point is, you got to be under more control than that. That almost cost his team the game.
Well, sure, and just like Rondo, you saw with Doc Rivers, he got in Rondo's face 2, 3, 4 times after he, ran Heinrich off the road over there.
Right.
And you know what I guess it is? You can be the coach, you can be the manager, you can be Lou Piniella, you can tell the guy what to do, Ozzy. You know what? They still have to do it during the game.
You're exactly right, but this ball isn't even in play. You got to bounce.
I know. Hey, let me leave you with this. Kevin Garnett, they're saying, watch out, he may suit up and come into Game 7. You know what? I would love to see nothing more than Kevin Garnett out of wind, not conditioned, big mouth, big talker. Wouldn't you love this? I would invite and embrace the Celtics to suit that guy up for Game 7. What about you?
Well, he sure isn't in shape to play, but I'm glad that he finally took a seat someplace last night and shut up. How did they not ring that guy up for a technical? I can't go to a Bulls game and sit in the first row and scream at all the players. They'd throw me out.
They should have teed him up.
Well, with the language that he's using, so many different F-bombs the guy's using, they couldn't even show the guy's face on TV half the time. I mean, it's real clear, what he's saying.
Yeah,
but,
game 5.
As far as the game, you were asking as far as favorite player, I got a theory on that. I kind of like the whole team as a whole, and I'll tell you why real quick. A couple weeks ago, they're playing the Pistons, and Sir Charles says to them, I wish we could get on with the next game because both these teams suck. And I think them guys, when Barkley says something, they really take it to heart. That was just a short time ago.
I missed that. I didn't see that, and I hadn't heard any comment on that. This is some news you're bringing to me. Maybe it's old news to everyone else. I apologize. Barkley said that?
Yeah, it was an early game. Both these teams suck. They're playing the Pistons. And I think the Bulls really pay attention. If you think these guys are going to lay down and play dead for you, Boston, the rest of you guys, you got another thing coming.
Well, you know what? Swami Murph came on the air with me the other day after Game 5, after the hit upside Brad Miller's head, and Swami Murph said, you know what? Now the Bulls are finally pissed off. You know what? Don't get me wrong. They were motivated. They were into it. Of course, they wanted to win, prove their stripes, but they got pissed off. And now, you know what? I said they're going to win Game 6, and they're going to win Game 7, and it'll be a beautiful thing with Kevin Garnett or without him out there at the Garden, the Boston Garden. Thanks a lot.
That was a definite wake-up call.
Thanks, Michael. All right, buddy. I appreciate it very much. All right, let's take a break, catch up on a few things. We'll be right back. Everyone on hold, getting right back to Bulls Talk at top of the hour, 1 o'clock. It'll be Tool of the Week. And when I return, I like to read USA Today every morning to get the national perspective to see maybe, maybe we're too close. Maybe we're too myopic right here. Maybe forest for the trees, all that jazz. Maybe the big picture is beyond us. When I come back, I'm going to read a survey in this morning's USA Today. This is national now. This is not Chicago. This is not the Daily Herald Tribune or Sun-Times. The question, should Kevin Garnett be seen and not heard? Yes or no? I think you're going to be surprised with the national point of view. It's the Score.
We're back live from the Crestwood OTB, 13148 Crestwood Drive, with more of our pre-Derby broadcast, starring Mike Murphy, brought to you by Intertrack Partners on 670 The Score and 670thescore.com.
Rose in the air and missed it. Here comes Rondo. Rondo throws one at the horn. It misses, and the Bulls win. The Bulls survive. 3 overtimes. They live to fight another day. 128, 127. Unreal. Can you believe it? We're going to Boston. Game 7. Oh, my goodness.
Stacey King. Neil Funk, Comcast Sports Net. Hey, around 1:30, David Schuster's going to join me after Tool of the Week. More Bulls Talk right around the corner there, and everyone on whole Bulls Talk right after this. But if you had the TV up loud, Comcast, and they mentioned it, right there, that final, the 2 free throws, I should say, by Derrick Rose, he missed them both. A fan yelled out just before that second free throw to Vinny Del Negro, tell him to miss it on purpose, intentionally, sort of like what Brad Miller attempted the other day and hit the backboards, got hit iron. We know that. Well, they didn't tell him to miss it. He did miss it. But the fan was exactly correct. Had he made that, you still then they had no TOs left, but you still get to inbound it, sort of set up a baseball. Anything can happen. So it worked out perfectly, even though Vinny Del Negro didn't think of it or tell him. The fans were yelling it. Tell him to miss it, Vinny. Jay Zawoski has that racked up. We'll hear that next hour. Let's get back to the phones and see what the fans are talking about. Our Bulls are on fire. Let's go to line 6. Mike is next on the Score from the south side. Hello, Mike.
Hey, how's it going, Murph?
Good. Michael, real quick, who is the Bulls guy, coach, management, player? Who are you most happy for? Me, it's John Paxson after making that big deal, that big trade back in February.
I'd have to say Noah, because I think he's pretty much silenced all of his critics.
I just love the kid. I'm calling him the Pony. Maybe that's a lousy nickname, but with the ponytail and the way he's running around like a young colt, he reminds me of a pony right now. And I'm at the Crestwood OTB. We're talking ponies anyway,
Yeah. I got a comment and a question, Murph, for you.
Sure.
All right, my comment is, the one thing as a Bulls fan that it scares me going into Game 7 is they're so slow on their defensive rotations and help defense. They are so slow, and it's scaring me because, as you see, Ray Allen caught fire. If somebody else catches fire, it's going to be hard for us to close them out if they're steadily getting late when they're running around the screens and they're not helping, and they're getting too many easy shots on the perimeter.
Let me ask you about that, Mike. I remember, now this is back in the first month, I had a quote from one of the players, I forget who, it doesn't matter. He said, you know what? Our defense right now is very complicated. Now, this is back in the second month. Don't get me wrong, Mike. Hopefully things have changed. But they said, you know what? They said usually the offense is the tricky, sophisticated systems. You have to learn it with a new coach. He says our defense is so sophisticated, sometimes we don't just react. We have to think. You don't think that's still happening, do you?
To be honest with you, I have no idea. I think they're just slow rotating. That's what I think it is.
Well, and they kept pointing out Heinrich last night. You know, if you're going to double over, if you're going to switch, rather, you got to block them off. You got to block them off.
You don't wait till the last second, and then you're caught nowhere, no man's land.
I got you. Hey, Mike, I'm going to take a few more calls. Yes, sir, go ahead.
Yeah, my one question I want to ask, why is it that when the Bulls get in a rhythm and they're moving the ball crisply, Boston is too slow to make their adjustments when we're moving the ball, and we get out to a big lead or a decent lead. And once we get the lead, we stop moving the ball and we start playing one-on-one ball.
Well, what we do is Tyrus, and I love Tyrus, but you know what? He's done this now in 2 or 3 games. Once we get some momentum, he starts throwing up the 17-footer, clang, brick, and all of a sudden they go on an 8-10, 15-0 run against us. Tyrus Thomas can't do that. Hey, appreciate the call, Mike. Here's from USA Today. Their survey. Now, this is national. It's not the Chicago newspapers. Today's USA Today. Should Kevin Garnett, this is yes or no, should Kevin Garnett be seen and not heard? And the answer is yes, keep it quiet, 72%. No, let Garnett woof is the way they handle it in the USA Today. W-O-O-F, woof, woof, woof. So the whole country is saying, not just here, don't just say it's a Chicago thing that we're biased about Kevin Garnett. 72% of the country is saying, hey, sit down, zip it. I'd like to see him in Game 7. I'd like to see him in Game 7. That would be fun. Tongue dragging and someone taking care of him maybe late in the game when he's not looking. Sports Radio 670, Murph-a-Palooza. Tool of the Week next. Driven to you by ChevyDriveChicago.com. Who's your Tool of the Week? Oh, this should be fun. Hang on. Stick around. It's Murph. This hour brought to us by Menards.
Nice tools. Can you hand me that impact wrench?
Did you use the word tool?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought.
It's time for the Tool of the Week Award with Mike Murphy here in The Score. Sports Radio 670.
I think he's a tool.
T-O-O-L? He's a tool. He's a tool, so he's a knob, and I don't want him.
Who's been a tool in the sports world this week? Dial it up at 312-644-6767. That's 312-644-6767. And hammer whoever you like on The Score. Sports Radio 670.
My point is that I am a tool, and I brought additional tools to this team.
I think he's going to get a lot of tools before this year is over.
Tool of the Week is brought to you by RentalMax and RentalMax.com. Tool of the Week, it's Murph. And we're on the road having a great time at the Crestwood OTB. Stop on by if you're in the area. Remember, you can get your Derby pre-bet in today at any of the Intertrack Partners 15 locations. And tomorrow, doors open at 9 a.m. Let's get to the phones. Right now, the phone lines have all been captured, so when someone hangs up, that's your cue to dial quickly. And remember, I want to have a clear-cut winner, so pile on, double up if you hear the name that you were going to nominate. We have very few rules for Rental Max Tool of the Week. The only 2 rules, we hate rules. The only 2 rules we have is whoever you nominate must be involved in the world of sports, and whatever they did had to occur over the last 7 days. Rental Max for the spring cleaning in the backyard. Oh, man, go rent the pressure wash. It's going to be a great weekend. So if you're a weekend warrior, lots to do with the yard, you can get your dethatcher, rent it over at Rental Max. Your slit silter there. You can get, your aerator. Everything you need for the yard. Spring cleaning, the pressure washers for the deck in the back, the patio you're going to be building. Visit RentalMax.com. Find a location nearest you. Let's go. Oh, starting us off early. He is South
side. Corey on the score. Hey, Corey.
Hey, now, Murph.
Hey, who's your tool, Corey?
Reach back and fire this tool at New York Rangers coach John Tortorella, who on the same day he benches league lunatic Sean Avery for being out of control, yells, squirts water, throws a water bottle, and then waves a stick at fans in Washington. Then, several days after refusing to explain his actions, he finally says, "We all make mistakes. I'll be honest with you. My heart was in the right place. I was protecting my players. At least I thought I was at that point, but I did not do it the correct way. I stepped out of bounds." Hey, Tortor Wretched, it's good that you're in the mood to be honest now. Seems that being eliminated from the playoffs has made you a better half man. If hitting a woman in the face with a water bottle means your heart was in the right place, where exactly was your manhood? In the bottle you used to squirt paying customers? When you say you were protecting your players, what were you protecting them from? Your incoming idiocy, or perhaps some hidden outgoing outing? And when you say you stepped out of bounds, did you simply lose it because you broke your high heels, or because you slipped on a puck of poop that fell from your panties?
Southside Corey firing early. Thank you, buddy.
That's your toolbox with you?
Man, I got worn out last night watching the Bulls and then the Blackhawks and then trying to sneak a peek at my beloved Cubs spitting a bit in the 10th inning. Corey, Southside Corey just wore me out again. I love it. Let's go next to Glendale Heights, way out in the northwest suburbs. Eric is on the score. Hey, Eric.
Murph, how are you, buddy?
Fine, Eric. Who do you got for Tool?
My tool is Lawrence Holmes.
Oh, I knew this was coming.
On his face Monday morning.
So you're already tooling him up for Monday.
I'm tooling him for all his comments about the Bulls.
We got
you. They got a rookie point guard, 20 years old. They got a rookie head coach, and they're doing great.
Everybody's eligible. Thank you, Eric. Lawrence Holmes gets his first vote of the day.
He's the nail. And the hammer.
Let's go. Let's go to Alex from. By the way, the phone number remains 644-6767. Have some little notes here from some of the horse fans at Crestwood OTB, which I will. Oh, here's one on a napkin from Sox fan Pam. She wants to. Let me read this here. It's on the napkin. Want to tool up Lou Piniella for his pregame mealy mouth statements. Oh, wait a minute. Sox fans, Pam, tooling up Cubs manager Lou Piniella. Everybody's eligible. Thank you, Sox fan Pam. Hey, everyone's eligible to visit RentalMax, rentalmax.com. But here's the great thing. If maybe you've never utilized RentalMax and you go, I don't know how to do this, rent the equipment, I want to build a deck in the backyard, I'll build my own patio, want to do my own lawn work on this beautiful Saturday and Sunday coming up, go to rentalmax.com, find the location nearest you, contact them, they'll help you, they'll walk you through it. They can make arrangements if you need the equipment delivered. You can rent from RentalMax by the day, by the week, by the month. Why buy it? You need it. RentalMax has it. Go rent it at RentalMax. Next in line is Daniel on the score from Brookfield there. Hello, Daniel.
Hey, Murph, I'm calling to tool up Tyrus Thomas. He's just pissing me off with, excuse my language, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that.
Well, you just did, and I'm with you.
Well, he's just upsetting me with his jealousy towards Derrick Rose and the rest of this team. He wants the spotlight, and he can't handle it. Whenever the game was, I believe it was the first or the second game when he should have passed that ball to Derrick Rose, he decided to take it himself, and look what happened. Ever since he wanted more money because he thought he could play good, it's just been completely upsetting me.
Well, Tyrus Thomas, I don't know if it's jealousy or not. That's something we have to climb inside his head. But, Daniel, every time they have a run going, and he did it again last night, he throws up a 17-foot, brick right after the Bulls had been on a nice run, and that's when things started turning around. He's got to be more disciplined. I'll put him down for you, Daniel. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you, Murph.
Tyrus Thomas.
He's got every tool you need.
Mm-hmm. Let's go next to... Hey, Jay Zawowski, I'm eligible to nominate, because I'm eligible to be nominated, but I can nominate, right?
Yeah, Murph, who's your tool of the week?
All right, well, I got a couple here, but let's just start with Kevin Garnett, okay? Just on general principle for being the biggest tool of the week, in my opinion. Kevin Garnett, all right?
You didn't bring your tool belt today.
No. Had trouble getting through customs with it.
I got a few more. Jay, it's my show. Can I do more than one?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Can I do 3?
You can do 10. It's your birthday, too. You should do 10.
A-Rod. How about this? Did you see this story today? It was buried in the notes. A-Rod, there's a tell-all book coming out by one of the Sports Illustrated writers. And according to AP, the book will say that, quote, A-Rod tipped off opponents in the batter's box to pitches that were coming in blowout games, hoping that the favor would get returned to him someday when he was in the batter's box. A-Rod, tool time.
He was touted as a 5-tool man, but he lost 2 tools.
Yes, he did. Let's go next to, let's bring up line 5 from Stager, not far from here. Hey, Easy E, you're not over here in Crestwood visiting. Hey, Easy E.
Hey, Murph, how you doing?
Good. Who's your tool, E?
First of all, I just want to tell you how much we love you in Chicago, so don't drink the water out there.
Well, you know what? I'm sure they've solved all that right now.
All right, my tool. It's funny for me to even say this because I think he's doing a pretty damn good job, but I'm going to have to tool Del Negro for Game 5 when they had an 11-point lead.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting there and I'm watching this lead just evaporate. They end up losing the game in overtime, and I just wish he would have called the timeout or something, slow the momentum, done anything to change up the game a little bit because they just sat there and watched that lead diminish. You got a young Bulls team, and they're doing great. But something like that could destroy young, confidences. You know what I'm saying, Murph?
Well, I do. You know what else is? It's sort of like everything he does is he's guessing. He's either guessing wrong or not thinking it through. So like, scissors. You know that game Rock, Paper, Scissors where you're basically just guessing, right?
Right.
Now, one day he doesn't call it TOs. The first time he calls too many, he's got none left. And he says, well, you know what? They like to use them to stop the momentum. Then the next game or two, what ends up is he doesn't use them to stop the momentum because he doesn't want to run out of them. He's playing rock, paper, scissors, and he's been on a losing streak.
Do that constantly when he was coaching the Bulls. And you know what? It's just good coaching. You got to do something to throw a hot team off their rhythm. And
you gotta do that. Hey,
luckily, they're doing good, but he's got to get the tool.
Thank you, Easy. You got to do that, and you got to see Jack.com. Why? Jack Phelan Chevrolet, home of the GM Total Confidence Package. 5 years, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. They got OnStar covered for you, vehicle protection value, the payment protection up to 9 months. And check it all out. Where? Jack Phelan Chevrolet. You got to see Jack.com. Good guys, my guys. Let's go to Keith. Hey, South Suburbs are checking in. Elsip Keith is on the score. Hello, Keith.
What's up, buddy? About 10 minutes away from you.
Oh, come on by. We're having a great time. Crestwood OTB. They got the early wagering right now for the Derby tomorrow. They also open at 9 a.m. Who's your tool, Keith?
I got a couple ones, but I'm going to give you a yeah, man, on Kevin Garnett, especially talking smack when you're injured on the sidelines. Grow up, buddy. Grab yourself. Realize, man up. You're hurt. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, he's a real big talker when he's sitting there in his $10,000 suit. I hope he does dress out Saturday. I'd love to see him in the game.
Here's my main tool.
Yeah.
Rajon Rondo for doing the WWF move 2 times, not only causing Brad Miller stitches, I think trying to rip Heinrich's arm off and throw him into the scorer's table.
Well, you know what? The NBA asked for it. I think that's what Stacey King and Neil Funk said. You know what? This is what you get when you don't police it in Game 5. You get a fight breaking out. And I hope Stu Jackson was happy and Rondo gets a Tool of the Week. Well-deserved nomination.
You know what I wish, man?
Yeah.
We could have Rodman out there for like 5 minutes and do one of them dirty, nasty old-school fouls and teach him to man up.
Oh, wouldn't that be great to see them?
How about the Cubs, man? What's going on?
Don't worry about them. They're going to be fine. We'll worry about them after the Bulls and the Blackhawks. Don't worry about your Cubbies. They'll be fine. Appreciate it very much.
Tool idiot. Tool idiot with an Aston Martin.
Hey, I got more people to tool up, but here's last week's winner.
Well, if I had a hammer,
oh, man, I wonder if he can go back-to-back.
Hammer in the morning.
Vinny Del Negro. Give it to me, Vinny. Murph till 2. David Schuster will join me in a little while. He covered the Bulls game last night for the Score. Sports Radio 670. Visit my friends at Rentalmax. Rentalmax.com. They are local guys like yourself. 10 locations. Find the nearest Rentalmax location. Do it right now for your big weekend projects. It's going to be beautiful this weekend. Lots to do around the house. Aurora, Chicago, Crest Hill, Downers Grove, Joliet, Lake Zurich, Orland Park, Roselle, St. Charles, and Wheaton.
That ring I love between my brothers and my sisters all over this land.
We're back live from the Crestwood OTB, 13148 Crestwood Drive, with more of our pre-Derby broadcast, starring Mike Murphy. Brought to you by Intertrack Partners on 670 The Score and 670thescore.com.
Oh, second round of phone calls, tool of the week. We'll have Lauren, I'm sorry, I'm looking at Lawrence Holmes' name here right now, you know why. We'll have David Schuster with us in a few minutes, breaking down last night's Bulls' exciting triple overtime. And no, they probably won't have you never know, quadruple overtime Saturday. It'd be like hitting for the cycle in baseball. They had the OT, an OT, a 2 OT, a 3 OT. Why not a 4 OT? Nominated so far for Tool of the Week from my friends at RentalMax.com. Rangers head coach John Tortorella. That was from Southside Corey, of course. There's Lawrence Holmes. There's Tyrus Thomas, Kevin Garnett, A-Rod, and Rondo. Let's get a clear-cut winner. Let's get back to the phone lines. And here's an interesting one. They're telling me to go to line 8. Aurora Mike will be next on the score. Hello, Mike.
How you doing?
Good. They told me you've got a very sort of off-the-beaten-trail, interesting tool nomination.
Yeah, me and my buddies were watching the game yesterday, and we just couldn't help but notice the music that's playing during timeouts and between quarters.
Were you there or watching on TV? So I understand.
We were watching on TV.
Okay, fine.
We couldn't help but notice here.
Mm-hmm.
I think they still have Jock Jams Volume 1 playing, and I'm pretty sure it's the same music that was playing when Jordan was still there.
Well, you know, it's cheaper that way. They don't have to buy the rights to another set of songs.
You can make a trip to Best Buy and buy a CD for $10. So my tool of the week is whoever's in charge of playing the music at the United Center. Just in my opinion, terrible, especially just flipping back and forth between the Blackhawks games. Whoever's in charge there in Vancouver, playing Metallica, playing AC/DC, getting the crowd pumped. United Center playing Shake Your Body, I just, not really my thing. So my tool of the week goes to the music manager out at the United Center.
The sound guy for the Bulls. I love it. Everybody's eligible for Tool of the Week. Aurora, Mike, you know that, as long as they're involved in the world of sports and whatever they did occurred over the last 7 days.
Tool of the Week. I believe I've been on Tool of the Week before. I'm excited for that.
Hey, Jay Zawoski, I got some more to nominate on my own here.
All right, let's get some more of your tools,
All
Mark.
right, well, now, I do have an emailer. Mikey Tron, longtime emailer from Antioch. He wants to pile on Rondo, so that's our second vote for Rajon Rondo, okay? But I'd like to nominate, and he did it was nice of him to come on the radio this morning on the score, Phil Rogers, Tribune baseball guy. I think I heard him correctly this morning. In fact, I'm sure I heard him correctly. Here's what he said. He says, Jim Hendry overreacted, making trades this winter for more balance, meaning more left-handed, right-handed hitting. Okay, you could argue that, but then Phil Rogers said, they lost 6 games in a row in the playoffs, 6 out of 6. Well, that's right, Phil, 3 in a row and 3 in a row. But he basically said, you're overreacting. He says, because they face good pitching. The Cubs face good pitching, the Dodgers, of course. They faced good pitching the year before to Arizona. Right. So now Phil Rogers is going to pile on and go, you overreacted. Can you imagine if there'd been no deals made at all by Jim Hendry? What Phil Rogers and the experts around the country, the guy made no deals. They couldn't get any hits against the Dodgers or the D-backs. They're 0-6 and they made no deals. But right now, they overreacted. Let's get back to, we got about 4-5 fans left for my guys over at Rental Max. By the way, Rental Max is not just for the weekend workout backyard guys like yourself. It's for the big operations facilities, plant managers, vice presidents of operations, and general contractors. Here's the great thing. Got your spring and summer jobs, you're lining up. Here's what you do. Open up an account at rentalmax.com. They'll walk you through it, help you out. One convenient account at all 10 Rental Max locations all around Chicagoland. You got a job here, you got a job there. You got your guys flying all around, boom, 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 in and out all the different Rental Max locations. And you get one, Mr. General Contractor, one centralized bill at the end of the month. How cool would that be? Save you time, save you money. Let's get back to Lakeshore Drive. Alex on line 3.
What's up, Murph?
Hey, Alex.
What's up, man? I wish we could have 2 votes because I would have voted for Kevin Garnett as a tool of the week. But my biggest tool today is Rajon Rondo.
Rajon, he's got court rage, not road rage. Rajon.
First of all, he tripped Kirk Heinrich, and Kirk Heinrich needed to get stitches on his head.
Yep.
Secondly, he slaps Brad Miller in the face.
Right.
Without intent.
Right.
To get the ball at all. With that camera in his face, he looked so guilty. And then yesterday's game, which I should have would rather went to, but I couldn't. I had to work. I saw Rajon Rondo throw Kirk Heinrich on the sideline.
And the NBA,
he's a dirty player.
Hang on. The NBA encourages it. They condone it. And they go wink, wink, nudge, nudge because they like it or it wouldn't be occurring. Hey, Brian, Alex from Lakeshore Drive, thank you, buddy. Another vote there for Rondo. Got to get me a clear-cut winner in the next minute or two. The last 3-4 callers going to be very, very key. Let's go next to Carphone. CJ on the score.
Hey, Murph.
CJ.
Hey, Murph, how you doing? What's going on?
Good, man. Thank you.
Hey, I got to pile on Lawrence Holmes. He's a tool every day, he's a tool every week, and I have to listen to the other station in town because of that guy.
Oh, Lawrence has big, strong shoulders. He can take it. Everybody's eligible. Lawrence in maybe radio hell right now, but you know what? You risk the responsibility to be there in radio. Another vote for Lawrence. Let's see, Naperville and then Normal, Illinois will do it for a rental max today. Adam from Naperville. Hello, Adam.
What's going on, Murph?
Adam, I got about a 2-3-way tie working here. Who you got?
I want to start off by saying Joe Noah did it real big last night.
The pony. I tell you, Noah, I call him the pony with the ponytail, the way he runs around like a young frisky colt out there, sometimes stumbles over his big feet, just like a pony. But the kid, that was amazing. What was it, 3 dribbles, half of the court, and a slam, and then the and one, he converts the 3 points.
I left that arena a sweaty mess after that game.
Oh, I believe it. Adam, who's your tool?
My tool of the week is KG for all John at the mouth. Someone needs to take those earrings and 5-carat earrings and make them choke on them.
Do some pull-ups on those earrings, right?
Seriously.
I love it. Thank you, Adam. And Normal, Illinois. They say they're very normal down there. Hello, Brian.
How you doing, Murph?
All right, now, Brian, I need your help. I got about a 3-4-way tie. I got names like Kevin Garnett working here. Here's Rondo. Here's Lawrence Holmes. You're my last guy. It's all based on you for rental max, Brian. Who do you got?
We're going with Rajon Rondo.
Give it to me.
He was before the last 2 games. I was starting to respect him as a legitimate scoring threat and a legitimate basketball player.
Now what is he?
These last 2 games has proved that he's just another punk who can get the ball in the hoop every now and then.
He's a punk and he's a tool. Thank you, Brian. The winner of this week's Tool of the Week award from my friends at RentalMax and RentalMax.com. Weekend Warriors, backends, working on the yard, working on the deck, working on the patio. RentalMax.com, the winner is, and well-deserved, Rage on Rondo.
Well, Murph, that wonderful relief that comes when they just stop hitting you in the head with a hammer. It feels so good when they stop.
That's it. We're all out of tools. Thanks for listening and thanks for participating in Murph's Tool of the Week Award. Be sure to join us next Friday because there's always a tool. There's always someone who
has a hammer for a head.
That's right. You'll hear about him next Friday on The Score, Sports Radio 670. Tool of the Week is brought to you by RentalMax and RentalMax.com.
Having a great time at the Crestwood OTB. Hey, Jim from Aurora is here. He says, yeah, Murph, I want to pile on Rage on Rondo. Tool of the Week for those dirty, cheap shots. Thank you, Jim from Aurora. Murph, back in about a couple minutes, and then we'll have David Schuster. He was at the Bulls game. 644-6767. Who is the pressure on in Game 7, Boston or the Celtics? I'll ask David that. Asking you also right now. It's The Score.
Here comes Rondo. And a little dance at the top of the key. 10 seconds, 9. Rondo a drive, and a turn blocked by Garrett. Rondo got it back. Picked up by Rose.
All highlights there. Comcast Sportsnet. It's Murph on the road. Final half hour here at Crestwood OTB. Come on by 131st and Cicero. Get your pre-bet derby wager in now or tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. And that's all 15 of the Intertrack Partners locations. I just wish we had a minute or two to visit with, someone that was at the game last night. We've talked to some of the fans, but maybe someone that was there on assignment. Someone who was... it's the Liberty Line ringing. He said he'd give us a call. Let's punch it up. Let's go to Score Bulls basketball beat reporter David Schuster. Hey, David.
Hello, Murph. You know I'll always talk basketball with you.
Fans had a David Schuster. David, last night in the Lazy Boy for the 2.5-hour game at 6 o'clock. Now it's 10 p.m. One of the more exciting, if not the, there's a lot of ways to go. The most interesting, the most exciting, the biggest cliffhanger. But I don't know how to even describe that game. You've been in person to a million sporting events. How would you, is it possible to describe it properly?
Well, I'll describe it the following way. I think it's the best NBA series I've ever seen.
Wow, and you've seen a few.
I've seen a few. I've seen championships, NBA finals, but, I've never seen a series where the first 6 games, 4 of them go overtime, one going double and one going triple overtime last night. That all being said, not the best basketball I've ever seen. There's a lot of mistakes, coaching and on the floor, but as far as drama, as far as theater goes, it just can't be topped. It's unbelievable what has been happening in this series.
I like the way you it was well put up and down, as always, David, but you hit the nail on the head. And here's what I think. Sometimes, every sports fan has a different level of expertise. Be it, my mom who watches every Bulls game, to an expert maybe like yourself who's been there and reports on it and knows the ins and outs. But it's very, very interesting that, a game can be exciting and fun to watch. And to some fans, it doesn't matter if it was scientifically perfect, if the X's and O's, if there were. You're right from your viewpoint, and many of our fans, it wasn't really a well-played game, which is true. But to many fans, they don't look at it that way. But everyone agrees it was damn fun to watch.
Absolutely. I mean, Neil Funk, who's been around the block with basketball for a long time, when he says, "Are you kidding?" When it goes from one overtime to another, I mean, it just can't be topped. It's like a scriptwriter from Hollywood putting this together.
Yeah.
And again, all the twists and the turns, the ups and the downs, the pendulum of this whole series has just been unreal.
They'd reject that script in Hollywood as being too much fantasy and too much fiction. It's David Schuster with us, 644-6767. David with a busy day last night, a busy day right now. We'll get David in and out here in a moment. 644-6767. I want to ask the fans from earlier today also, David, Game 7. Now, will the pressure be on Boston or the Bulls more heavily? Who is the pressure on Sunday? At first you would think, it's on the Bulls, there they are. But is it really on the Bulls Sunday?
No, I think if a gun to my head, if it has to be one of the two teams, I'd say probably the Celtics, because they're going to be the favorite, obviously, on their home court, all that tradition and nonsense of winning Game 7s in Boston, of which they did twice last year, but they had Kevin Garnett in both those games. So I think if it's on either of the two teams, it's probably on the Celtics. I still like the Bulls, Murph. I said it before the series. You have it on record that they would win this series, and I'm going to stick to it. I think the Bulls are going to win that game tomorrow night.
Well, I agree with you. And in Game 5, when Brad Miller got hit by the Louisville Slugger upside the head, and nothing was done the next day by Stu Jackson, I knew pretty much right then. I said it on the air that, you know what? Now the Bulls are finally PO'd. See, now they've really got a chip on their shoulder. Not that they weren't prepared. Not that they weren't mentally up. Not that they weren't jacked up. Don't get me wrong, emotional. But now all of a sudden it went an extra notch up. Hey, you know what? Now we're really PO'd. That's the way I think Game 5 ended for them for 6 and 7.
And I'm a big believer that you actually play better basketball sometimes when you're mad. I mean, a lot of people would disagree with that, but that's the way I've always been. And when I get mad at an opponent, I step it up myself.
Yeah.
So, I just think in the Bulls' minds, they've played this team now tooth and nail to a draw through the first 6 games. They know in their minds they can beat this team. Right. It doesn't make a difference where the game is tomorrow, but they know they can beat this team. And I think come the fourth quarter in Game 7 tomorrow night, I think some of those older players on the Celtics are going to start feeling it.
Hey, this hour of the score brought to you by Menards. Another quick minute with David Schuster. David, back an hour ago, noon, I guess, when the show started, I threw out, I guess typical sports talk type of topic on the Murph Show. But I said, who are you happiest for if you're a Bulls fan right now? And I said, it can be anybody, from the owner, the chairman of the board, Jerry Reinsdorf, down to the towel boy, or the guy doing a great job out in the parking lot. It can be anybody. And we were all over the board. We had no consensus, which was fun. But mine was John Paxson. And here's why, David. I pulled the Sacramento Bee, that's their newspaper, like the Tribune, Sun-Times, Daily Herald, from February 18th. You know where I'm going? The day of the trade. And I'll just give you like the first sentence or two here from their point of view and what they wrote in Sacramento. The Chicago Bulls and Sacramento Kings reached tentative agreement this morning to trade Andre Nocioni, Drew Gooden, Michael Ruffin, and Cedric Simmons to the Kings, the Bulls, for Brad Miller and John Salmons. You tell me last night what would have happened without Brad Miller and John Salmons if you still had Drew Gooden and Andres Nocioni, Michael Ruffin, and Cedric Simmons, David Schuster.
Well, there wouldn't have been a last night, Murph, because they wouldn't have been in the playoffs with that old batch.
Exactly.
So that trade turned the season around, no question about it, and John does deserve a lot of the credit. I'm going to throw one other name into the bunch, though, who I feel happiest or feel good about, and it's Joakim Noah, who's taken a lot of criticism, and rightfully so, up until about the middle of this season, and I was on his case, too. I thought this guy would be an all-time bust, but halfway through this season, he finally figured it out, both with work ethic and also his role on the team, and ever since then, he has played out of his mind, and that play that he made in last night's game, the steal, the dunk, and the free throw afterwards, and fouling out Paul Pierce, biggest play of the season by far.
You know, there might have been better plays in the history of the Chicago Bulls, and there's many that we remember with Michael Jordan, but as far as just raising me up out of my lazy boy, we have a little quick soundbite here, David. Jay Zawaski had a little extra time on his hands, and that's always a fun thing. He found the Boston radio WEEI call of that exact play. 35 seconds left in triple OT. It's the really the nail in the coffin. It's going to be also the sixth foul. Let's listen to how the Boston Celtics guys, as they see the game leaving their grasp.
Pierce. Straight away, left-hand dribble inside the free throw line. His pass deflected, stolen by Noah. Noah racing with Pierce, dunks it, fouls Pierce out of the game, and will give Chicago a 3-point lead if he can make the free throw. The long arms of Joakim Noah. They just have decided Game 6.
Was that Ron Santo doing the commentary?
No, Brent Brown dropped the ball. Now, I want to slide a caller or two, then spring David Schuster, double duty Ratcliffe today. But I have nicknamed Joakim Noah the Pony. And here's why, David. Number one, he's got the ponytail. Number two, I'm at the OTB right now thinking about the ponies, the Crestwood OTB. But he's like a young stallion, a pony. And he's frisky. He trips over his own feet sometimes. I mean, he is a pony growing into a big horse, isn't he?
Well put, Murph, but he's quickly growing, finally. I mean, his offensive game is still a million miles away from ever being or what you want out of somebody like that. But defensively and work ethic and teammate-wise, everything that you want, all the reasons why they drafted him as high as they did, the things that they saw in him that nobody else did, it's finally coming to the forefront, so I am happy for the guy.
Let's slide Champaign, Illinois. Champaign, hello. Johnny on the score, Johnny on the spot. Hey, Johnny.
Hey, what's up, Murphy?
Hey, fine, thanks. You're on with David Schuster, my real expert. Go ahead, Johnny.
Hey, look here, man. Johnny Salmons gave it to Paul Pierce last night.
He did. He absolutely did. When they needed him in that second overtime and quite a few other times in the first quarter, he was automatic. He had 16 points in that opening quarter. But again, with the game on the line and they were trailing at a certain point in the fourth quarter and then in the second overtime, John Salmons, without him last night, of course, they don't win that game either, Murph.
Hey, Johnny from Champaign. David, I'm going to leave you with this. Now, you were at the game, so you weren't watching and listening to Comcast Sportsnet. With 3 seconds remaining in the game, the triple overtime, as you recall, Derrick Rose missed 2 free throws. And he missed the first one fine. Now, a fan will yell out in the background, and he's yelling to Vinny, and we have it racked up here from Comcast Sportsnet. Tell him to miss the second shot. Now, think about this, and Jay Zawaski, roll it.
The Bulls with a 1-point lead, 3.2 seconds left. In overtime, what? 3? Overtime 3. And he missed the first. And this game just, for some reason, won't end.
I'll tell you what, there's one guy on this team that's hoping Derrick Rose converts his free throws, and that's Kirk Cousins. The fans over here trying to give Vinny some coaching. They're telling him to miss the shot on purpose.
Rose in the air, and he missed it. Here comes Rondo. Rondo throws one at the horn. It misses, and the Bulls win.
Comcast Sports. David, the fans were exactly right. Think about it.
Well, I did, actually, Murph. And normally I would not agree with that fan because, listen, if you miss it and the team has a timeout.
But they didn't.
They didn't. That's the reason why I thought it was a good thing to miss it, because they had to take like a half-court shot of which they missed miserably.
If he'd have made it, they could have at least like sort of lined up, inbound, baseball pass to midcourt. Anything could have happened. The fan was exactly right. He did miss it. I don't think he missed it intentionally.
No,
and that was the right play. So everyone's trying to help Vinny Del Negro. Hey, David, we've already extended over our time for you. We appreciate it. Great job. And hopefully we have a lot more Bulls to talk about.
And I'll tell you what, right now, Murph, your Cubs are not looking good. They're already losing this game 3-0.
Oh, thanks for the flash, Gordon. Thank you, David Schuster.
All right,
The
Murph.
Score, it's Murph back in a flash. Driven to you by ChevyDriveChicago.com. Hey, I want to thank everyone. I received a lot of nice emails wishing Murph happy birthday. Thank you, everybody. But it's sort of a bittersweet day to find out two of the really good guys won't be at the Score anymore. Doug Buffon, Eddie Obradovich, two of the best. I've known Dougie for so long, and Eddie, and two of the best guys there are. So it's bittersweet. You're going to miss you guys, both of you. You don't meet many good people in radio, and those are two of the best. Murph saying thanks for listening. Thanks for calling. See you later, everybody.
Hello, I must be going. I cannot stay. I came to say I must be going. I'm glad I came, but just the same, I must be going. I'll stay a week or two. I'll stay the summer through. But I am telling you, I must be alone.
Thanks to Murph. That's right.
So, Murph, thank you very
much. Thanks, Murph.
Peace, love, and happiness, my man.